Day in, day out, you give your all. You don't have time to be feeling run down with a cold or flu. Echinoforce drops from A. Vogel relieves the symptoms of cold and flu viruses by strengthening your immune system. Echinoforce by A. Vogel.
It's interesting because one of the things that's very, very good for immune function is happiness. Being happy.
Darling, we need some injections of happiness if you've got any of those.
Hello.
Yes, everybody.
Happy New Year. Oh, it's great to see everyone. How are
How
you?
is everybody?
Yes, good, thank you.
I have kept dry January for 12 hours.
Well done.
Thank
That
you.
long.
Well done, better than me. By the way, have you seen
dry tea? Dry tea?
Yes, that's right.
Jai
Yes, that's
tea?
right.
Jai tea is fabulous. Yasmin at Jai tea, fantastic. I got a lovely present by somebody from Jai tea, which was the most divine, different separate teas with beautiful, beautiful wrapping and also lovely granola.
Heaven.
And you received the same from a friend
We
of
did.
ours called Alex.
Our lovely friend Alex.
Yes, thank you, Alex.
I
Gorgeous.
didn't even try dry January, just saying. I think it's impressive that anybody did do dry January. I didn't even attempt it. I just stayed fully on Bailey. It was only right.
Baileys.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the chocolate Baileys, Harriet. That's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all nice.
Yes.
Darling. I just
Absolutely. And in fact, I got one from Costco, a beautiful chocolate Baileys, which I'm yet to try. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Sherry, we haven't seen you for a bit. How are you?
I'm all right, yes. You know, I had probably the worst Christmas I've ever had in my life.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, no.
Well, because all my family, Keely, the children, everybody had COVID. Everybody. So they had a COVID house. And so everything that had been arranged for all of us, all the family to go for Christmas, none of us could go. So
Yeah.
I spent it here in my gym jams
Oh,
and just sort of feeling sorry for myself.
Oh,
yeah.
right. You cause, because actually it's something that's being with family is everything at Christmas, isn't it? And to suddenly
Particularly, well, because our Christmases have always been big. You know, my mother was big Christmas, I was big, and Keely now has taken on that mantle, and so she creates this incredible world. I mean, she had 4 Christmas trees in her house. The
Oh my
whole
God.
house outside was all reindeers, and I mean, she's unbelievable. And
That sounds like my daughter, Sid.
I mean,
She does exactly the
unbelievable.
same.
Yeah, I did see the Christmas decorations before we all had to lock down. So,
Good.
but it was, I mean, and also I have to say, there's so many people out there that have the same thing as me, you know, and we said, didn't we, we'll never have a Christmas like last Christmas. And yet this Christmas, for some reason, I think it's been worse.
Yes.
I agree. Well,
Because we didn't know last time, did we? Now
No, we
we
didn't.
knew.
Yeah.
Kira tested positive. Talia tested positive. Mons, my son-in-law, was in Sweden with my grandson, and they were sledging, and the sledge fell over, and he fell on top and broke Albie's leg.
Oh,
And he was supposed to come back on Christmas Eve, and then he tested positive. So Kira ended up spending Christmas without either of her children, and her and Talia were together because they were both positive. I didn't have it, but I went there anyway. I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to go. Possibly irresponsible of me, but I thought my mental health would suffer more if I didn't. And so I went, and I was fine, actually. So I'm very, very lucky. But nobody had any symptoms at all. Nothing.
No, that's the thing. A lot of
no,
people
that's
don't.
what the strange thing is. My lot
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and so did I, because I got COVID twice.
Oh,
And
my
I
goodness.
vaccinated. I got COVID in London when I was rehearsing, came back, and then 7 days, whatever. And on I think it was the 8th or the 9th, they tested positive again.
Oh,
And I know all I had was a sore throat, to be honest.
Yeah,
All I had was a sore throat. But then I thought, well, what does that mean then? Do I can I not go anywhere then now? I was just so confused.
Well, it is
Yeah.
so confusing
It is
because
confusing.
Kira tested positive on a PCR, but negative on flow tests.
Well, there
And
you go.
Talia
That's it.
tested positive on a PCR. No, hang on. Positive. Kira was positive on a PCR and negative on a flow test. Talia was positive on the flow test and negative on the PCR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is
I
all
know.
that about?
My granddaughter, who, you know, had leukemia 3 or 4 years ago, she's been actually clear for 3 years, but we worry about her because
Yeah, of
her
course.
immune system, you know, she had a lot of chemo and everything. And she got COVID before Christmas, but nobody else in the house got it, which is weird. You think maybe it's the testing or something, you know, you just don't know, do you?
The vaccinations we've had have given us a huge help with not being ill,
Yeah.
you know, with it. Like Sherry said, she just had a sore throat. And
Yes.
that's amazing. And as so many people I know
important.
have a mild cold. And if they
Yes.
didn't know COVID, they wouldn't know. They think it was a cold.
Exactly, Harriet. And did you get through the Panto? Your Panto, by the way, I made it to your Panto. Was
know you did.
incredible, and you were brilliant, Harriet.
Thank
The
you. I'll
wicked
pay you later.
queen.
I must tell you, Harriet, my hairdresser went to your Panto, and she
Yeah.
said she was sitting watching it, and she suddenly went, "I know, that's Harriet." And her daughter went, "You know her?" And she went, "She's a friend of Debbie's. She lives with WonderBirds." And her daughter was like 4, going, "What?" You know.
It was amazing. None of us got it. We tested sometimes twice a day. We kind of all bubbled, and how we didn't, because people were traveling every day to and from Woking, but it was just that thing of chance, and all the audience were masked, and it was sold out. It was an amazing run, and
It was packed.
people were so happy to be there, and to
Yeah.
hear people, even with the mask, the kids laughing and engaging in that live theatre again. You know, there's nothing like it, and it was
beautiful.
So honoured to do it, actually, and they were amazing company, and all, as I said, everyone backstage, front of house, everyone was extraordinary. So I was bloody
you
lucky.
could see that.
People came from everywhere, and there was an amazing thing from the States that an actress who'd done Wicked, played Elphaba, who hadn't done it for 2.5 years and was originally a cover, came in for that one day and took over on Broadway. And people have been coming back, and now also understudies are being respected more, because everybody has covers and understudies. They never normally go on in theatre. Now they do. So maybe it's also an opportunity, because there are lots of tours and lots of things being advertised and starting already.
For some reason, people have become so terrified of sitting next to somebody. I went to the cinema the other day, and I took the 2 girls to see Spider-Man.
Lovely.
Moving on, and it was. I mean, I have to say the seats were amazing. You know, those great big, you know, that you get on business class on a plane. Great big seats. They lay right back, and it was distanced, and everybody wore a mask, and I never felt uncomfortable for 1 minute. Not for 1 minute. So
Fantastic.
and it was packed, but it was distanced packed. You know, it was not everybody sitting next to each other. But that thrilled me, because I thought, at least not to see Spider-Man, but at least I went to the cinema. You know, which I love.
I want to know, did you actually recline your seat and sleep through it? That's what I want to know.
Yes, I lay down.
Because nobody would know.
I lay down like that.
Unless you
oh
snore.
God, I can sleep through this now. I don't have to watch the screen. It was Spider-Man's not my thing, though, I have to say.
It's nice that a young English actor has caned it, if you like. You know, really, because you know his father is,
he's great. It's
you
just
know his dad, don't you, Sherry? His dad is Dominic Holland, the comedian.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's fabulous. But it's just it's the blowing up of everything, the CGI, which is everything is blown up all the time. Oh, we've got an H where Harriet was.
Oh, sorry. My phone suddenly is. Hang on a second. Okay, Dad. Lots of love, darling. Bye, darling.
Was that your dad?
That's my father. My father's 95. Just saying, just in case you're worried, darling, I'm going to go and get my hair cut. I said, so
how lovely.
95, unchanged. just in case you're worried,
Amazing.
I'm going to get my hair cut. Okay, done.
How lovely.
Sorry about
Oh,
that.
that
do you-
brings me on. I have to say a tribute to Sidney Poitier, who died at
Oh
90.
yeah.
I know. Oh
What an
gosh.
amazing man, an
Loved
amazing
him.
actor he was. I mean, you
How
know,
he
he
paved-
came from a time when it was very difficult for him, very difficult, and yet, you know, he got through it all. I mean, it must have been a very hard time to be in the business at that particular period. But I was in love with him always.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
gorgeous.
And what a wonderful lifetime that he's been through, because he's gone from where he started to now
Yeah.
with black actors and everything. It
Yeah.
must be such, he much pride. Because,
Joy.
he was part of
Yeah.
that movement that started it all.
Yeah.
That's, well, guess who's coming to dinner? I
Yeah.
mean, Catherine Hepburn was a fabulous film, wasn't it?
One of the best.
And he was
yeah.
so brilliant. That was the beginning, and well deserved.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, sorry to change the subject, but you guys, Sarah Parish was on in December. Have you seen Stay Close?
No.
Not
Absolutely.
yet. I'm saving it. Is
Terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I
Terrifying.
thought.
You know, Sarah sent me a message yesterday, and I said to her, "You've terrified the life out of me, because I'm so scared I can't go to the end. I keep switching it off." And she's so
a
good
must
in
see.
it.
And it doesn't start like that. It starts off and you think, oh, this is just sort of some little
Yeah.
drama.
Oh no,
They got
oh
a
no.
twist in it. And I was literally hiding behind it. I don't remember a program that's made me feel so frightened. And it's
Really?
really clever.
Yes.
Wow.
Did you get to the end,
I'll have to
Debbie?
watch
Did you see
that.
the whole series?
Oh, I saw that. I watched it all night. That's the problem, was that I
Binge.
started to watch it and then I just had to carry on. 3:30 in the morning, I thought, I am watching a bloody thing that's terrifying me, with two dogs either side going, I'm going to see it till the end.
Please watch Leslie Joseph in Celebrity Coach Trip
I
on
watched
E4.
everyone.
Really?
It's the most ridiculous, isn't it? It just,
Heaven.
you just,
Heaven.
and
She's done
it is
every
unbelievable.
She and Linda have done every single
Everything,
task.
every task. I mean, that thing, she did they did this task. It's a bit like I'm a celebrity now. So they have to get on this buoy, which is like a round dinghy, hang on to it, and then be dragged by a motorboat.
Oh
I mean,
no.
at such a speed, going over like that. And
Oh,
I thought,
God.
well, Leslie can't do it. And she did
No.
say, you know I'm 76. So Brenton said, oh, it's okay. So as she got on, she said, could you please go slowly to the guy on the motorboat? He went, yes. And Brendan turned around and went, go as fast as you can.
Oh no.
And she went, whoom, didn't she?
You can
Yeah,
come off
I mean,
those.
it terrified me just watching it.
Yeah, I did that
absolutely.
in Barbados actually, and it is scary, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well,
Scary.
how do you hang on?
Well, you don't
got that
always.
little bit in the front.
Yeah, you
No,
can come off
especially in
those
maturity.
easily.
And maturity, darling. I mean, hats off to her. She's bloody amazing. She does everything.
What about New Year's resolutions that we've broken, darlings? Anything?
I
What's
never
that?
make any, to be honest.
No, dear. Not anymore.
No. The
Again,
only
what's
ones I thought would be actually is to listen more to people and to talk to people, like, people. Not we're mature, but I'm talking about elderly people who I see a lot. And there was a lady the other day in the supermarket who probably was in her 90s, on her own with a shopping trolley, and she was very bent over. And I just went up to her and I said, do you want me to help you? And she said, no, darling, no, it's fine, it's fine. And I said, come on, I'll help you put your groceries in the car. So we walked to the car and she was still driving, and she looked at me and she said, thank you so much, you've made my day. And I thought, wow, you've made my day, And I thought, if I could just do that once a week or once, it makes such a difference to somebody.
Absolutely.
And also you too. I think it's important that we listen and we observe.
Well, the
people
thing
around
is that
us.
if you are down or depressed, the thing that you should do is go and help somebody, because that
Yes.
immediately lifts your spirits.
Absolutely
So,
right.
opposed
You've
to-
always said that, Debbie, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what I do when I start feeling a bit, I think, come on,
You
who
do.
can I help? Because that, it comes back in a different way. And I
Well,
think
there's a
then we
big
realise-
campaign at the moment,
Yeah.
which WonderBirds should be involved in, really, and it's about loneliness. Esther Ranson started it, but then a lot of other people have started it now. And it's
Lovely.
about loneliness, and it's because it's not just because of the pandemic, but the pandemic has escalated it to a very serious, very frightening level.
Yes.
And people on their own. I mean, listen, I was on my own for 10 days over Christmas and New Year, and that was awful. But
Yes.
I'm lucky. I have family. I have FaceTiming. I have friends. But people haven't got that. And I think it's the loneliness now is, you know, like a pandemic. It's sort of people are well, have problems at home with drink and drugs and everything that you can imagine. So I think that is something that we should address, you know, how lonely. And I'm not talking about elderly people.
No.
I'm talking about young mothers with children in flats, in high rises who can't get out. And, you know, I think I've always said we don't address it as I was going to say an illness, and that's not right to say that. It's not an illness, but it's as bad as. You know,
Well, it
they
is. It's you're right, because it becomes an illness. Because when you get so lonely, you get, you know, you only have yourself to talk to. I mean, when Talia, at the beginning of the pandemic, Talia left home, and I didn't realise how much of, you know, she went to stay with her boyfriend straight away. So it was the first time I had lived on my own for 25 years.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really weird. Yeah. And I didn't really, you know, then we start WonderBirds, and I didn't realise how much WonderBirds helped me, because 3 days a week we had to do something, didn't we? We were up, we were made up, we were ready. And I think, you know, even the last few months when we've been sort of changing our schedule a little bit, I realised how much WonderBirds helped me because of the routine. That we had a routine.
Absolutely.
We had purpose, and I think you're so right, and helping other people is everything. And I woke up on New Year's morning, New Year's Day, and alone, which is completely fine. But again, my first thoughts are, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna earn money? How am I gonna cope?
Yeah.
And you get off the pity pot and think, what can I do that's positive? And again, we're so lucky, because yes, being alone is weird, and it's not in our sort of storybook of what our lives should be. But actually, we're lucky, as you said, you know, we've got FaceTime, we've got friends, we've got, but it is weird suddenly not having a partner, not being with family, whatever. It is a strange thing.
People that live the longest in the blue zones, the whole reason that they live a long time is not because of their fantastic diet or anything else, is because they stay in family groups.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and they eat together, and their elders are, you know, they are the most important people of the family. Nobody, you know, as they get younger, you know, the younger people respect the elders, and they eat together every night, and they ask their elders questions, and it's all about being together as a family, or being together as a unit.
Well,
really
I found that when I was filming Benidorm, and we were there a long time, 10 years, every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, all the families, the whole family would eat together. Whatever restaurant you went into, and there'd be grandma, there'd be granddad, there'd be uncles, there'd be aunties, nephews, and they'd all be together every weekend. And it really struck home to me that we have kind of lost that. You know, that we don't, our families are all scattered everywhere.
A lot of people have written to us, as you know, and said that, you know, we are like a family with them. So it's fabulous that we're you know, carrying on doing WonderBirds, because I think it's a great platform for us particularly, and for all the viewers particularly too.
Yeah, I have to say to new people, we're not very good at being a dating app. That's the only thing I will say. We don't find that easy for us, or for anybody else who might write in. So
Thank you.
Yes.
So we're going to be talking about immune health, which is a great way to start 2022, isn't it? So we've got an expert now, immune health, what we're all talking about, called Ali Cullen.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ali. So Ali, you are the nutritional practitioner, aren't you, for A. Vogel?
I am. Yeah.
Yes. Welcome to the nest. Welcome to WonderBirds. It's lovely to meet you. We've got all your products here. And we've been trying some of them out, and we've been reading about them, and we know a lot about them. But what I would like to ask you first of all is, what nutrients should we actually be taking? I mean, we're in the middle of flu season with COVID and all sorts of things happening. What would you recommend to begin with?
Okay, so yes, I think there's an absolutely monster cold going around, isn't there? I don't know if you've come across.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and especially I think with the children bringing it back from schools and nurseries and things like that. So it is a time to really take care of your immune system, make sure you've got everything to keep it ticking over nicely. So your immune system, actually, there are different things it needs in terms of nutrients, but also in terms of lifestyle as well. So it's a question of looking at both your lifestyle, tweaking your lifestyle, and then also putting in nutrients. So it's things like obviously your diet, which can give you some of those nutrients that you need. Things like exercise, sleeping well, looking at your stress levels. But in terms of the specific nutrients that are really helpful for your immune system, we all know about vitamin D now. So obviously it's important to make sure at this time of year, when you're definitely not going to be getting any sun, making sure that you've got sufficient levels of that. Vitamin C is incredibly helpful for your immune system as well, and you can up that. With vitamin D, you can't really, you can have enough and then that's enough. You don't get any benefit from taking more. But with vitamin C, as long as you're taking low doses, you can keep taking it and add more in, and that's really helpful for your immune system.
What would you say? Because I take 1,000. Is that okay?
The interesting thing with vitamin C is that as human beings, we're not designed to hang on to really high doses. We use it up very quickly, and what we don't use, we just void in our urine. So taking really high doses doesn't necessarily help any more than taking a moderate dose. So sort of around 100 to 500 milligrams at a time is fine. You don't need to take more than that. And actually taking smaller doses spaced out during the day can be much more effective. Because then you've got it active for you over a longer period of time. And then the other nutrient is zinc. That's really helpful. With that horrible cold, you need to heal up after it as well. So that's an important one.
I want to ask, how do you think the lockdown affected our immune system?
That's where the lifestyle stuff comes in very much, because although some people obviously managed to make changes that were very positive for their health during lockdown and the whole sort of ongoing pandemic, on the other hand, for the majority of people, sadly, it's not such a great outlook. So as a population, we are now fatter. I think it's something like 63% of the population are now either overweight or obese.
Wow.
It's disturbing. Yeah, there's that whole corona stone thing, which is definitely, I see that in my clinic. That's definitely true. Also, again, some people have taken up more exercise and found that really is working for them. But as a nation, again, we're less active. We're sleeping more, poorly. This was an issue anyway, but it's just got worse during the pandemic. So coronasomnia, again, is a definite thing, which people are still experiencing the ongoing effects of that. And then obviously people are vastly stressed, and stress is really bad for your immune systems. All of these things create inflammation, and inflammation is bad for every aspect of your health, and it especially undermines your immune function. So it's interesting because one of the things that's very, very good for immune function is happiness. Being happy.
Darling, we need some injections of happiness if you've got any of those. Sure.
It's a great healer, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. It's an interesting thing that I've noticed, actually, especially now since the holidays, is that a lot of people just didn't even manage to get any fun over the holidays, not necessarily because of restrictions, but just they've lost the notion. I don't know if you found that.
We were just talking about that, actually.
Yeah, so it's really important in this situation. It's really important to support your immune system with all the things that you can do, because you need to offset those sort of tendencies to a bit more misery to support your immune system, make it work better.
So can you tell me, darling, what are your top tips for helping the immune system? What from this lovely array of products would be really good to kick those things off? What are your top tips?
Yeah, okay. So my top tips, I'm a nutritional practitioner. Obviously, my first tip to everybody for everything is to eat well. And I think it's really important.
You're talking to the wrong people, dear.
Well, the next thing I was going to say is, at this point in time, we don't want to be putting high hurdles for people. It has to be low hurdle. So it's just doing it a little bit better than you're doing now is great. Just do a little bit better than you're doing now. So a few more veggies. You know, I always think in the clinic, a bag of salad is better than no salad. A tin of vegetable soup is better than a chip sandwich. You know, just making those small, easy frozen vegetables much better than tired old limp vegetables and fresh vegetables in the fridge, you know. So making those little steps is really important.
Is there some, you know, product or, as you say, there's a vitamin D spray, I think, isn't there?
I always take my echinacea. Always take my echinacea.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I love my echinacea. I used to only take it because, you know, I'm lucky I've got good health, but I used to only take it when I was maybe traveling or something like that, you know, where you're going to be exposed to more bugs. But I have taken it every single day for the last 2 years, and I just swear by it, echinacea.
Brilliant.
And I like the spray because it's easy to use on the go.
Of course. And what else? Another top tip?
So vitamin D, yeah, I just to repeat what I said previously, with vitamin D, you can get enough, you know, so it's stored in your body. So vitamin D, yeah, maybe ask the doctor to test if your levels are okay. And if they are, then you don't really need to keep taking more.
We've all got underactive thyroids and we need to take vitamin D because we lack it. Bizarrely, all four of us have the same thing.
All four of us.
Oh, wow.
Very important.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know, acupuncture can be really, really helpful for thyroid function as well. Something to look at.
Okay, interesting.
That can be
yes,
nice.
we have to also take magnesium and selenium as well because that sort of helps the thyroxine, helps it work. But can you tell me where does this go? I mean, now if your immune system, if that's buggered, how does that affect the rest of your health?
Okay, I think that it's actually really clear at the moment what's happening where people's immune function is down a little bit. You can really see how they're falling for one infection after another, this monster cold for a start. And if you're constantly getting infections, it's just so miserable. You know, it's just a horrible way. It's quite wearing on the body. And it's miserable. You know, people aren't happy when they're constantly getting these problems. So it's a bit of a vicious circle, because then when you're ill, you don't feel like making great food choices, do you? You know, you're definitely not going to go out and exercise, and you might not sleep well because you're really congested, or you've got this horrible cough that stops you sleeping. So it's that vicious circle that being ill makes you have poor choices in your lifestyle, which then undermines your immune system even more. So I think this is where we really need to intervene at this point in time, and, you know, help people with these little easy tips for making sure that they take the right supplements and they have those sort of little positive inputs for their lifestyle. So we're absolutely not saying go out and run marathons, absolutely not saying that. A little bit of you know, daylight exposure is really good for your thyroid, quite apart from anything else. You know, morning light is great for your whole body, good for your immune system, good for your thyroid, good for your sleep pattern as well, if you get some daylight exposure in the morning.
That is brilliant information, and it's quite inspiring, because it means we don't have to suddenly stop, you know, drinking and eating lettuce leaves and things. Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show, and
really inspirational.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ali.
Lovely to talk to you. Bye-bye.
And you.
Bye.
That's good though, isn't it? Meaning that we don't actually have to completely change everything overnight. And I think happiness, it's right, isn't it? Happiness is the big healer.
Right, so we better get a tickling stick.
Yes.
And start giggling all the time.
I haven't heard that expression for years, tickling
well,
stick.
I tell you what, over Christmas I did watch Elf, and I've never seen it before, and it really made me, isn't it funny?
I love it.
Yeah, brilliant.
That was brilliant.
Really love it.
So I think our next show on Friday, we have Sherry. You love him, don't you? Bob Barrett,
Yes,
your favourite
Bob
person.
We all
I
love
love
him.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to
Wait.
tell us all about Holby City, isn't he?
Yeah, about because
Very
I
interesting.
think
Yeah.
they're filming, and I think he's going to talk about his veganism and, well, you know, everything
What's
else. So
Yes, he's lovely. Oh,
We
well
love
done.
Okay.
So
See you
See
then.
you Friday then, girls.
See you Friday.
see you
Bye,
Friday.
darling.
Bye.
Keep happy.